Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Madmen with a Box. I realize we didn't discuss who's in charge of this week beforehand, but
no,
it doesn't matter. I'm Pixel. I'm your ghost host. Look over there. It's OZChris. He's a monument.
Yes, it is.
And lastly, it's Landry Q of the Walkers. Can you hear us?
Uh-oh.
He's gone now.
He'll be back.
He always comes back. All right. We do have some news to talk about, and actually, I just realized I've never done this before as a bubble. But yeah, we're going to be pulling up this window. Come to my window, and he's back. So let's see how this looks. Oh, we're still bubbles, but the only difference is it's just that we're bubbles. News for this week. We're going to go ahead and start with the Mara. They're back. With 8.
Yes, we've talked about this box set was announced earlier. The big main info from it was that Matthew Jacobs, who wrote the Doctor Who TV movie, is back to write for the 8th Doctor again. Like the first time since the movie, because that's the only time he ever wrote for him. So he's doing the first story, but they revealed the cover, and the Mara is an antagonist in one of the stories. Interesting. But I talked about this with Pixel before. It's weird, you know, a lot of Doctor Who villains are interchangeable, obviously. You got your Daleks, you got your Cybermen, you got your Centaurans. The Mara is one I always feels like it should only ever be the 5th Doctor, in particularly Tegan. I think if it goes anywhere else, I don't just see how that can work. The Mara is just pivotal to like that era, to that specific point in that era. Because I know some time ago there was a Torchwood audio story that had the Mara in it. I know there was an 11th Doctor like short story that also had the Mara. So I know it could be good, but who knows?
Who knows? But the key thing is that crap. What's her name? Audacity. Audacity is there with him right there. Alrighty. Next is another Big Finish thing. We're talking about families. We have the Companion Chronicles back. Stories narrated by some familiar faces.
Yes. So the Companion Chronicles, which are the Companion Chronicles are weird because it's a very mixed. It used to be a very mixed style, and it very rarely had a voice actor for the Doctor in them. Even if they did, it would usually be one of the other cast members doubling their roles. So, like for the 2nd Doctor Companion Chronicles, it was always Fraser Hines doing double duty as Jamie and the 2nd Doctor. But for this one, they're bringing back the Companion Chronicles, and Stephen Noonan is reprising his role as the 1st Doctor, and of course Lauren Cornelius as Dodo. I think this is her first. No, this is not even her first. No, this is their second First Doctor Adventures like appearance as Dodo. She was in the early Adventures, so she's now doing more outside of that, which is good. I'm fine with that. She's great as Dodo. We'll see. Companion Chronicles are here or there.
Listen, the key thing is we get more Stephen Noonan, and that is always a win.
I'm 100% for that. 100%.
And we have a very Star Trek-looking ship in the top left corner. Very, very discount Enterprise.
Yeah.
It's like someone took the Enterprise and just flattened it even more.
Right in there. And the cover's fine. So one more piece of news. Apparently, it was on November the 1st, exactly 1 year from the Hooniverse launching on iPlayer. Terror of the Zygons and the Seeds of Doom are now no longer available on BBC iPlayer.
Why?
I'm trying to see here. Let's see. It's the BBC told RadioTimes.com in a statement, the Hooniverse contains over 800 hours of Doctor Who content, making it the biggest collection of Doctor Who programming in one place, which includes all episodes that we have the rights to. So it's they're not outright saying, but they are implying that this is a rights issue. Very similar to, what was it, Stephen Colburn, who's refusing to let them have The Unearthly Child be on streaming because he's a terrible person.
Yes.
So yeah, it's. I think it is supposed to. It's weird that it's like, okay, they can't have it in iPlayer, but like, Big Finish is still doing that Zygon box set. So is that also up in the air now, or are they?
The thing is, they aren't getting rid of all the Zygon stories. There are a few of them, aren't there? More than
that's
Terror.
Yeah, but those aren't written by the original creators.
Yeah, the rights issue in England is it's so different than what I'm used to dealing with copyright law in the United States. And it can be very creator friendly, but when we're dealing with a corporate property like this, it can become very frustrating for the fans because these people do have rights, which is great. But when those rights become multi-generational and they get held hostage or kind of abused, and I don't know that's what's happening with Seeds of Doom or anything like that, but I'm just thinking about what you said about The Unearthly Child. It's all a lot. It's all very complicated and hard to understand.
Yeah. It's still been a few days. They haven't really said anything aside from alluding that it's a rights issue, hence why they're not on iPlayer anymore. So I guess Daily Motion is getting a lot of traffic now if you want to rewatch Classic Who, particularly season 13. But why they took them off, like who knows?
Who knows?
But
Doctor?
I'm guessing until that's resolved, good luck with the season 13 re-release for the collection, because that's now what the Terror is the first episode. Seeds of Doom is that Seeds of Doom the last one?
I think so.
Have a look. It is. So literally
after that is Deadly Assassin.
Yeah. Oh no,
no.
Mask of Mandragora.
And then Hands of Fear? No,
yeah, then
I'm
Hands
getting
of Fear.
Okay.
No, you're right. Yeah, it goes Mask, Hands of Fear, then Deadly Assassin. Because
right. Okay.
Sarah Jane has 2 stories in that season before she then leaves at the second one. Terror of the Zygons and the Seeds of Doom are the start and end of season 13.
What's in between those?
Season 13. In between is Planet of Evil, Pyramids of Mars, The Android Invasion, The Brain of Morbius.
Season 13 is good.
Yeah, I have not watched Planet of Evils or Android Invasion, so I can't comment on those. But Pyramids of Mars and The Brain of Morbius are really good episodes. So yeah.
All right. So here's the funny thing: those are the 2 I haven't seen. Also, I just like all the others that much. So I'm like, okay. So it sounds to me like there's an episode. One of those we need to do, since neither of us have you seen those, Pixel?
Well, Brain of Morbius and what was the other?
No, Planet of Evil and The Android Invasion.
Oh, I've definitely seen Planet of Evil. Android Invasion is one that I know I have seen, but I don't remember it very well. So it might be that one. That might be our winner there. Talking about things that linger in our mind and fade away like ghosts, it's time to talk about the Ghost Monument. This is the second episode of season 11 of New Who. And it's the second story featuring Jodie Whittaker as the 13th Doctor and the introduction to... Yeah. Chris, why don't you start us off?
Sure. So yes, the Ghost Monument, as you said, it is the second episode of Series 11. It debuted on the 14th of October, 2018. It sees the Doctor, Ryan, Yaz, and Graham on their first accidental adventure on the planet of Desolation, as they are caught up in a race between two people. The grand prize being lots of, what was it, Kryn they called it? Their currency is like Kryn. For lots of Kryn to ensure the survival of their respective clans. And they have to meet up at the mysterious Ghost Monument. My thoughts on this episode, that it is just an okay episode. It's fine. As a first adventure, it's fine. I will note that I do kind of like that Ryan and Graham have kind of a bit to do. And they kind of stand out a little bit in this episode when they're like, oh, the engine to the boat doesn't work. And Graham's like, okay, let's go have a look at it. It's like, wait, but it's an alien engine. How would you know? Well, let's just go have a look at it anyway. And they actually have skills that kind of apply to like checking out this engine, even though it's an alien one. So they have something to do in here. Not really much so Yaz, unfortunately. But other than that, the threat is whatever. Just the overall episode is okay. The TARS reveal, no, it's fine. I don't like that the interior design. Exterior design is great. Interior design, not a big fan of. Doctor herself, she's okay. That's all I can say about this episode. It really is just, it's an okay episode.
Landry.
I mean, I'm not really well prepared for this. I watched it when it came out. It was not enough to make me stop watching it. It was not super memorable. It was, Graham was my standout character at this point already, with this episode, and remained it for me. I disliked so many things that were going on, and it just didn't grab me. And it's kind of like a perfect example of 13 as a whole for me. She was there. This episode was there. I watched it. I didn't think about it ever again, as opposed to episodes that live rent free in my brain from other eras. From every other Doctor has that. I don't have that with 13 anywhere. I don't know that you can name any episode, and not that they're necessarily terrible, but they're just there. And that's what this episode was for me. It was the perfect example of the 13th Doctor era, in that it happened and I did see it.
Yeah. Gevain, welcome. I was worried you weren't going to make it.
Good evening.
We're talking about our episode today, the Ghost Monument. Do you have thoughts?
Oh yeah, I think Landry just stole all of them. For the tail end that I came in, I felt pretty much the same way. If an episode was going to be just personified meh, this would be that episode. It's kind of like, it just happened. It's like I remember watching this when it first came out, and it just happens. There's nothing like I caught the tail end of Landry's. There's nothing meaningful that happens. There's nothing you learn about any of the new companions per se. The two characters, the Death Race 2000, Hunger King gangs thing that's going on, they're not particularly compelling. Even the reveal of the new TARDIS is just like, It's like someone had walked into their attic that just had some groovy runes on the wall, and that was about it. It was just nothing about this episode that kind of made me go huzzah or anything along those lines. So I have to agree with Landry. I think what he was laying down is it exists. It happened. It came. It saw. I don't know what the hell it did after that, but but yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I wish I had more, but other than the fact that I think this probably demonstrated more than anything that even though they've done it before with other doctors, the idea of there being 3 companions, sort of 4 main characters, it doesn't work. I don't think it ever really worked for. It didn't work for me for 13. And once they get down to her and 2 others, okay, but it just seemed with that and the 2 racers, it just seemed like they were just a bunch of people like taking up time and space in the story, but nothing really just occurred. So yeah, that's all I got. Man.
See, I agree in many ways that it does display certain things of this era. For one, they get to the location that it's this abandoned shooting range, right? For the robots that are there, and they walk in. Oh no, they aren't people at all. They're robots. They're things. So they end up running into the interior of the shooting range, all these little stands popping up to be shot at, but the robots aren't there yet. Ryan goes ahead and he's going to make a stand. He picks up one of the abandoned guns, and she's like, "No, we never use guns." And he says, "Doctor, they're things that are going to come after us. They aren't even people." And she's like, "No, still, we never use a gun." He doesn't listen. He goes out there, he shoots them all, stuns them, gets them on the ground, but then they sit back up and he runs away screaming. And she's like, "See, this is why we do this." And then she launches an EMP and destroys them all.
Also to add, she says like, this is why I don't use guns. It's like, because you won't know how to recharge it, to reload it. No, that's not the doctor's thing. It's the whole, the doctor doesn't like to use weapons to kill, to purposely maim. But Ryan's whole thing is that he shoots the bots, they actually get stunned, and he fails to reload, and he runs back. It's like, this is why we don't use guns. It's like, because they can fail on you?
Okay, I guess that's the lesson. Just like, stuff.
Oh, so I will note. This is probably just going off memory. This is the only time that Ryan has a personality, is when he goes out and shoots and then runs screaming. I'm like,
that is.
I didn't like that moment. You have these 2 side characters, the ones that are on their quest for. We never learn how much that is. By the way, it doesn't really matter. It's just a lot of money.
No.
And then
it's typical. It's not even like that. They gave the characters nuances to where it's like, oh, they both have like an equal right to win this, really kind of win this race. It's like she's doing this for family. He's doing this kind of for himself. And he has that whole talk about like his mother like abusing him to teach him a lesson of don't trust anyone. And he's like, that's the best thing she's ever taught me. I love my mom. And it's just like,
okay.
It's like, why are we? It doesn't feel like if this was written by anyone else, I'd feel like they'd give both of them flaws, but they would try to prop up more of their like equal reasoning. Because I felt like with that, I felt like, again, with Chibnall, it seems like he's going somewhere, but he doesn't commit to it. There was going to be a actual reason to why Ryan and Graham are rescued by the female racer, and then the doctor and Yaz are rescued by the male racer. and those were just going to be split together, and then when they meet up, it's just, oh no, this person has more rights to win the race. Oh no, this person does. It kind of divides them a bit until they reach a conclusion where it's like, no, it needs to be equal. Where it comes to the end of like, we're both the winners. You have to give us both the prize because I don't want either of us to like be stuck here and die on this planet. We're both winning and we're both leaving.
I love that they do that. He's like, no, but he gives into their threat. Like they walk up, we'll get off of here. We will find you. We will make you wish you were dead. And so the guy gives in. He's like, okay, sure.
Which doesn't make sense because like whoever lost would be stuck on the planet. So why would he give into a threat if he not knowing about the TARDIS, obviously, which even the Doctor temporarily just forgets about when they reach the end. The Doctor just forgets about the whole ghost monument being the TARDIS until it's like they try to do this whole thing is like, oh, we're stuck here now, aren't we? Like that's okay. Like at least we got each other. Like the guy that funded the race and held the whole race, like he doesn't know that they have a way off.
Yeah.
So the whole threat is meaningless. That there's like, we're gonna get off this planet and we're gonna get you. It's like it's a nothing threat that he should not have caved into. He only caves into it because we need a resolution to this race, and then they need to leave, and then we need some temporary conflict of like, well, the TARDIS team is still trapped here.
Yeah, because they go ahead and say you're going to bring them along with us. Huh? No.
Hey, guys, I got to split. Sorry to cut my part short, though.
Okay.
That's all right.
I will talk to you guys soon.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah. So this episode has. I hated that.
It has a lot of like.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff was just cut off the storyboard, and it's not particularly written well.
No.
But even with it being just an okay story, it's just like I can see parts that another writer would implement or improve upon.
Yeah. Because even the thing with Ryan and Graham being with that female racer, you would have thought that her desire to be with her family would kind of resonate with Ryan, that he was kind of taking the family I left for granted. But she has that moment with Yaz instead. And it's just kind of like,
yeah.
And he tries to build a moment off of the fact that the planet was made this way by the scientists on there because of the Stenza, which is what Tim Shaw in the first episode was. They try to make that a big thing. So,
which I had. Yeah, they tried to make it like this is going to be the recurring arc that leads into the finale is the Stenza, but I had a look. This is the only time the Stenza are mentioned until the finale. Until Tim Shaw returns in the last episode. So it tries to do that. It tries to do the whole like build up of like a story arc.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do it. It just disappears after this. It's a nothing. It's a nothing like reference of this is like, oh, this planet was conquered by the Stenza, and it's like, well, that was that Tim Shaw bloke that we just got rid of.
And I didn't realize they mentioned the timeless child this early. I was like, I was actually dismayed. I was like, that actually was a thing from the beginning. It's like,
so you're saying that these rag things somehow have access to the Doctor's past that nobody else has? The only one that you can kind of say that to is Morbius. But other than that, nobody else is able to access these secret lives of the Doctor except this rag that's flying around. Okay.
Yeah,
so the memories were in a fob watch, so how could they know about it? Again, Chibnall did not properly storyboard anything. did not properly plan anything.
And
He sequel trilogy the whole arc. Oh fuck it, let's just do anything.
somehow,
Somehow the Centaurans returned.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that.
Oh no! Then when the Cybermen start flying, they fly now. They fly now. No, they regenerate now. They regenerate now.
Okay, give it a number, Chris.
A nice in the middle 5. It's okay. It's average.
Gevain.
Yeah, I was initially thinking 5, but I am going to go with a 4 based on basically what Chris shared. The fact that it sets up a bunch of things that go nowhere. It's a very incomplete episode. It's just something where I think even as I was watching it, I was like, I would have moved cards around on the storyboard to make this more meaningful for this. So you have to give it a 4. Yeah.
And you know what? I'll go in the middle. I'll go 4.5. I give the first episode like a 9.
Oh yeah, it's just night and day between these 2 episodes.
Exactly. It's sad. Yeah. So sad. But yeah, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Ghost Monument review, short and sweet, because there's just
yeah. I mean, do you want some fun facts and trivia about this episode?
Yeah,
Is there anything fun about this episode?
I'll start off with Chibnall's public apology after this episode came out.
I'll try. So, as we know, this was the first episode to debut the new title sequence, which Pixel historically loves.
Oh, that's good. That's cool. Yep. Good call.
I was kidding, by the way. Pixel doesn't like this title sequence.
I just said, it was good.
I think it's fine. Pixel.
No, you've done it. This title sequence is garbage. The music. Listen, I can respect the visuals trying to recreate that first look of the warbles of the first Doctor era. Fine, and in the music, you can hear that too. But it's immediately underdone with the sound of this white noise. You know those machines that, I'm going to go ahead and get my baby to sleep by playing this sound. And it's white noise.
I use those machines to go to sleep.
One of these options is something to mimic the womb. How it sounds within the womb. That's exactly what it is. The whooshing.
That's true. No, you're right. I'll give you that.
Exactly.
Pixel,
But that's because they're foreshadowing the timeless child, though. So I mean, it all comes together in the end.
Pixel, you say that it's the worst when Series 7B exists.
I like Series 7B.
I don't. I think it's a terrible title sequence.
The fact that you think that this is better is just sad, Chris.
It is. It's not better by much, but it's not good either.
You are just pissed off about the lightning. The lightning is the only thing that upsets you.
They had a perfect opening with Series 5 and 6. I don't count 7A with the stupid Instagram filters on them, but Series 7B's title sequence is not good. It is not good. It's awful. But anyway, getting back onto my facts about the this debuted the new title sequence. It is the first time since the Snowmen, not counting Night of the Doctor, Day of the Doctor, Death in Heaven, and Sleep No More, in which the Doctor's face or eyes do not appear in the title sequence. It is also the first time since The Ultimate Foe, the Sixth Doctor's last story, that the TARDIS does not appear in the title sequence. With the exception of The Day of the Doctor and Sleep No More. It marks the first time since The Day of the Doctor that there is no scene shown before the title sequence. Despite being the first 13th Doctor story to feature the title sequence, it is actually the second time a woman is credited first in the title sequence. The first one was Death in Heaven, when they did the whole Clara is the Doctor thing. So they switched. They put her eyes, and then they switched her and Capaldi.
Yep.
There's a couple of references to some famous people and a video game. In the Brazilian dub of this episode, Audrey Hepburn and Pythagoras are instead changed to Carmen Miranda and Palmerina. I don't know who either of those are, but I guess they are very famous, famous people. Also, the game Call of Duty was changed for GoldenEye 007. That's such a. I'm guessing like for Brazilians, GoldenEye is just a really like popular. I know GoldenEye is a very like famous game.
It was classic,
but it's a classic. It's a classic game. So it being changed from Call of Duty is such a weird choice because I feel like Call of Duty still is universal at this point. So
GoldenEye. To go to GoldenEye 007, that's going back a bit. Yeah, but
it is going very back a bit. Tosin Cole came down with heat stroke filming this episode because they were filming this in South Africa, and also while traveling, he was asked by two different people where his chaperone was because he was assumed to be a minor even though he was 25 at the time.
And he got heat stroke in South Africa. Sad.
And before this episode came out, it was rumored that the black armored beings were thought to be pure Sontarans, according to an anonymous Reddit user. As usual, it's Reddit, so was it true? They were actually the sniper bots.
Well, we can't really say that about Reddit because they're the ones who posted about the
60s.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, a broken clock is right. No, twice a day.
So those are fine facts.
Yes. Ratings wise, this did 7.11 million overnight. The final ratings was 9.
That's because people didn't know any better.
Yeah, they didn't know. They didn't know. And hey, Venusian Aikido was referenced again. That was fun.
We did it.
Those are
fun facts.
Those were fun facts with Chris. I'm not making this a segment, but
now it has to be every time, Chris. You set yourself up for this. But that's our show today, ladies and gentlemen. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel. We will see you next week for whatever our topic is. We'll find out. But until then, so long, farewell, and allons-y. Don't you say it.
Geronimo.